House of the Dragon, Episode 6, early reviews hint at the biggest book change yet. Warning. This video discusses early reviews and advanced reactions for House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 6. These reactions come from critics who have already watched the episode before its official release. While they avoid revealing the biggest plot twists, they do contain mild spoilers and several interesting hints. If you want to experience Episode 6 completely blind, this is your spoiler warning. Now let's explain. Episode 6 is already creating buzz. Before House of the Dragon, Episode 6 has even premiered. It is already becoming one of the most talked about episodes of Season 3. Not because HBO released a shocking trailer, not because of a major official announcement, but because nearly every early reviewer is hinting at the same thing. Something important happens in this episode that could completely change how book readers view this adaptation. Interestingly, none of the reviewers are revealing exactly what that change is. Instead, they continue using phrases like major departure from the book, a surprising creative decision, and something that may upset longtime readers of Fire and Blood. Whenever multiple reviewers avoid talking about one particular moment, it usually means HBO has asked them to keep that surprise hidden. And honestly, that makes Episode 6 even more exciting. Ryan Condal is no longer following the book exactly. One thing has become very clear throughout Season 3. Ryan Condal is not trying to recreate George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood page by page. Instead, he's treating the book as historical source material. That may sound strange, but if you've read Fire and Blood, you'll know it isn't written like a Game of Thrones. It's presented as a history book written many years after the events actually happened. Different historians tell different versions of the same story. Some events contradict each other. Some characters are remembered differently depending on who is telling the story. That gives the television series something very interesting: creative freedom. Instead of asking, how do we recreate every page? Ryan Condal appears to be asking, what if the history we've read isn't the complete truth? That approach has already resulted in several expanded storylines, longer character arcs, different conversations, new emotional moments, and entirely new scenes that never appeared in George R.R. Martin's book. Because of that, even readers who know Fire and Blood by heart can no longer predict exactly what will happen next. Reviewers keep warning about one major change. Perhaps the biggest talking point from the early reviews is the repeated mention of one major book change. Nobody explains what it actually is. Nobody reveals which character is involved. Yet almost everyone mentions it. That alone has sparked countless theories across Reddit, X, and other fan communities. Some fans believe it could involve one of the major battles. Others think it may completely change one character's future. Right now, nobody outside HBO is confirming anything. But when several independent reviewers all describe the same mystery, there's usually a reason. One reviewer even joked that Ryan Condal is once again reminding everyone that he has read Fire and Blood. Another warned that the change near the end of the episode could frustrate some book purists, whether fans love it or hate it. It certainly sounds like people will be talking about Episode 6 for a long time. Kristen Cole becomes the center of attention. Another character dominating the discussion is Sir Kristen Cole. Without revealing exactly what happens, nearly every reviewer agrees that one major sequence involving Kristen Cole is among the episode's biggest moments. According to early reactions, the scene is brutal, emotionally powerful, and very different from what many viewers are expecting. What's especially interesting is where it reportedly happens. Many fans expected the episode to build toward one enormous ending. Instead, several reviewers suggest the biggest event arrives much earlier, allowing the story to spend the remaining runtime dealing with the consequences. If that's true, it would be a very different storytelling structure from previous episodes. And it may explain why critics continue calling Episode 6 one of the strongest chapters of the season. Where is Vagar? There's another detail that fans immediately noticed after watching the Episode 6 trailer. And after reading the advance reviews, one of the biggest stars of the Dance of the Dragons is strangely absent. Vagar, the largest, oldest, and most feared dragon in Westeros. barely appears in the promotional material. In fact, most of the early reviews never even mention Vhagar. That silence has started a brand new theory among fans. Could Ryan Condal be deliberately shifting the focus away from giant dragon battles and instead concentrating on the human cost of war? Aemond is still associated with Harrenhal in the promotional footage. Yet, Vhagar herself remains almost completely hidden. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean Vhagar won't appear. HBO has often hidden major moments from trailers before, but the lack of attention surrounding the dragon has definitely become one of the most interesting mysteries heading into episode 6. The dragon seeds finally matter. Another consistent point mentioned by reviewers is the dragon seeds. Many fans have been waiting all season for these characters to become more important. According to the early reactions, that finally begins happening in episode 6. Reviewers say the dragon seeds receive meaningful screen time, which makes perfect sense considering how important they become during the Dance of the Dragons. Rather than introducing them only for background scenes, the show finally begins giving them real purpose. That could become one of the biggest turning points for the second half of season 3. Because once the dragon seeds enter the story, the balance of power across Westeros can begin changing very quickly. Not everyone agrees. Interestingly, the reviews are not completely identical. Although most critics enjoyed the episode, several still share one criticism. They wish the Dance of the Dragons felt more like an actual war. Instead of spending so much time inside council chambers, political conversations remain one of the strongest parts of the series. But some reviewers wanted more battles, more soldiers, and more of the ordinary people affected by the conflict. If so, those same critics still rank episode 6 alongside episode 5, which says a lot about the overall quality. Why book readers can no longer predict the story. Perhaps the most exciting part about all of this is uncertainty. For years, book readers always knew what was coming. They knew who survived, who fell, and how the major events unfolded. Season 3 has started changing that. Ryan Condal is no longer simply adapting Fire and Blood. He's interpreting it, expanding it, and in some cases, completely reimagining how certain events happened. That doesn't necessarily mean the final destination changes, but the journey certainly does. And according to these early reviews, episode 6 may push that creative approach further than ever before. Whether that turns out to be brilliant or controversial, we'll find out very soon. Final thoughts. If the early reactions are accurate, episode 6 won't be remembered simply because of one battle or one shocking moment. It may be remembered because it's the episode where House of the Dragon fully embraces being its own version of George R.R. Martin's history. Some fans will probably love those changes. Others may prefer the original book. But one thing seems certain. Episode 6 is shaping up to become one of the biggest discussion points of the entire season. Now it's your turn. Do you think Ryan Condal should stay completely faithful to Fire and Blood? Or do you enjoy seeing new interpretations that even book readers can't predict? Do you think the mystery surrounding Vhagar means HBO is hiding something bigger? And what do you think reviewers mean when they keep warning about a major book change? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more House of the Dragon breakdowns, episode reviews, book comparisons, hidden details, ending explained videos, and everything surrounding the Dance of the Dragons. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.